Diving into this kind of mind work was really helpful for me because it helped me to realize that I was operating under the fear of judgment. You can't be fully creative while staying in the same place. Getting a creative person to stay in one lane is like trying to catch a hurricane with a butterfly net, in the words of Dean Winchester.
Kind of like trapping a hurricane with a butterfly net? No, it's harder.
Because creativity is not something you can actually contain. At its core, creativity is all about curiosity. It's the adventurous spirit inside all of us that wants to try everything. It wants the whole tasting menu. With writing, this is where we get to explore different cultures. We get to do ridiculous amounts of research and build worlds that are populated with things that fascinate us. The majority of people I have seen on social media or read about in history books do not stay in one lane. From Leonardo da Vinci being a painter, a sculptor, and an inventor, probably more, to Taylor Swift being a singer, a director of her own music videos, an actor sometimes, and a badass businesswoman. I mean, you can't contain these people. It's not even humanly possible. I have found this emerge more and more in my writing practice. In the past year, I took a rapier class, which, if you don't know, that is a form of fencing that is specific to Renaissance Italy. And this is because for a story, I wanted to know what it was like to do that thing. If you call it a sport, activity, whatever. But I wanted to know what it was like, and now I know the basics of rapier fencing, which is in what other profession would I think to do that? I've listened to so many videos and podcasts about historical people, historical time periods, that my brain is does not know how to focus. It's not just the ADHD, okay? It's not. But this whole concept of creative curiosity, and I don't have someone to... I haven't arranged for anyone to erase my internet history. I wasn't building a bomb. I was just curious.
I haven't arranged for anybody to clear my internet history. I wasn't building a bomb. I was just curious.
I've done so much bizarre research. I do now know, however, that you should not remove an arrow from someone's body like they do in television. Which I'm sure will come in handy at some point. Surely that'll be useful in my real life. Curiosity starts with being curious about yourself. You have things that you want to learn about. You have things that you want to try. And they don't have to have anything to do with the creative path that you're currently embarking on. Maybe you have convinced yourself that you can't do them because they have nothing to do with the big thing that you're doing. These are blockages on your creative curiosity, and therefore they are blockages on your overall creativity and unlocking your, not just your creative curiosity, but your creative freedom and being able to put your whole heart and soul into your creative work. Creative blockages are rooted in beliefs. Beliefs that stop you from embracing your full creative freedom and experimenting without personal judgment. Diving into this kind of mind work was really helpful for me because it helped me to realize that I was operating under the fear of judgment. Growing up, I was always a very shy kid, and I would not speak up. I would not give my opinions because I was afraid of repercussions. And so when I was writing, I would equally I would hold back to a respect. I wouldn't hold back quite as much as I would in like actual conversation, but I would still hold back to a degree, especially when I was showing other people my writing. I wouldn't show them the things that I really put more into. But once I got through that part, I really started to see that I was holding myself back from implementing the messages and telling the stories that I really wanted to tell. One of the big things that changed my perspective on this was when I dropped out of my second art school. And yes, I went to 2 different art schools for a total of 2.5 years, probably over 5 years. So once I left the second one, I remember I was walking home and I had this moment of I asked myself, why am I still on this path? Because even when I was making comics, when I was doing these stories in the form of comics, they would always play in my mind as movies. And so I asked myself, why am I holding myself back? Why am I telling myself that I can't just make movies when I see them becoming films at a later point in time? Now, having gone down that path, I am prioritizing simply getting the stories in my mind out of my mind and onto the page. My main goal right now is getting the stories out into the world. And I think this is important to recognize that your priorities can change, but it's important not to limit yourself. I went from writing and drawing comics and adjusted to writing scripts, and then after that adjusted to writing prose, aka novels. This allowed me to explore so many different mediums. I now know what goes into writing a comic, what goes into producing a comic. I know the process of making a short film. I know how much work goes into it. And now I'm learning how much work goes into writing a novel and how freaking long they are. Oh my gosh, there's so many words. It's such an adjustment going from script writing to novel writing. I'm like, why is there so many words? This is really the big... I know everybody talks about in like tip videos, they talk about your why. And I'm going to fall into this trap, but it is a really important thing to know in your creative journey. And I'm going to refer to it more as the mission instead of the why. But for me, my mission is bringing more queer representation into the media. And for that, I've realized that it isn't exclusive to one medium. Since books can be turned into movies, I don't find it needs to be one or the other, since writing novels can lead to something else, and having both doesn't hurt. Creative mediums are not an all or nothing situation, and they really shouldn't be treated that way. Our curiosity is restless, and the more we let it explore, the more it's going to light up and expand and become bigger, allowing us to create more freely and openly. This makes me think of the phrase, the jack of all trades is the master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. I know the second part, people don't talk about that much, but It is a very good phrase. Striving for mastery in one field is not the, like, go-to, should not be the go-to for being creatively fulfilled. Because creativity is not one creative practice. It is the need to create, to bring something new to the world, to share your voice and your message. I want you to think about what personally drives you to create. Is there a message you want to share? A story you need to tell? And start looking into what medium might suit it best. Is there more than one? Could you experiment with like several? Society still sees our careers as like a one thing. Pick one and stick with it. And that does not fit the creative mind. This system is their attempt to tame the restless creativity, the creative energy that is inside us, because it's so unpredictable. Artists do not fit as worker bees in this economy, or whatever you want to call it, in this system. After all, schools are not made for curiosity. They're made for turning out productivity and getting results. We are graded on effectiveness. And oh my gosh, don't even get me started on art schools that I've been to too. Not a fan. Not a fan. Experimenting is a part of the creative process, and a part that's so overlooked in the education system. Do not let them put you in a box, because it will only keep getting smaller. It will never be satisfied. This box is just meant to crush you. I like to look at new mediums of like any creative thing as an opportunity for expansion instead of like a giant do not enter sign, because that's what they are. It's like, even if you try something and are not very good at it, odds are it's gonna happen. It's still a learning experience. And that is something we're not taught that much. You will learn so much about yourself and about your creativity through trying new things. Maybe you don't enjoy painting as much as you thought you would. Maybe you like sewing more. Maybe you like, I don't know, maybe you really like pottery or anything. It's just everything can feed into your creative curiosity, because being curious just applies to everything. It's not a box. It's looking at the world with open eyes and an open mind, because everything has a story and everything is interesting. I want to end this video with a little exercise for you. I want you to make a list of everything you've wanted to try, or every interest you have, anything you want to research about, and just make a very long list. You don't need to do anything with this list right now. It's just here to show you how many things you are interested in, how many things you're curious about in general. You will now have your curiosity looking back at you. It is proof right there. Maybe look up like tutorials on the smaller ones, or you can start feeling around which one you want to tackle first. But there's absolutely no pressure. It's just so you can look at it and go, this is everything I want to learn about, and keep adding to this list. And keep adding to this list. This can be somewhere you can go when you're lacking inspiration, or feeling a bit down, or just want like something to do. Just like, what hobby should I pick up next? Or what can I research today if you're bored? And it might like light you up and just like, oh, I could do something with that. Let me know down in the comments what your top 5 are, if you rank them, or just any 5 of them. I'd be really interested to know what kind of things you guys are curious about. I'm going to be back next week with another video that is related to this one. It's going to be like a little series where we talk about creative curiosity. Next week, we are talking about embracing creative curiosity. This week, we unlocked it, we let it fly, and next week, we are fully stepping into creative curiosity together. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you guys next week with another video. Keep on writing, my friends. Bye!